Hello? Is this thing on? I kid, Halabaloo, halloo. That is the greeting of one who has been away for a very long time. Normally, I don't take a month off of YouTube without saying something. In fact, the last time I took a month off of YouTube was when I was pregnant with the twins. I am not, in fact, pregnant, okay? There might be a little bit of like oatmeal baby in here, but I am not, in fact, pregnant with a human child or any child. What am I pregnant with, a dinosaur? That made no sense. The point is, I'm back. Let's just be honest, when people take breaks from YouTube, and I'm sure I'm guilty of it too, there's sort of always this video that's like, we're leaving, or some kind of like dramatic, you know, last video title sort of thing. But to be honest, I just needed a break. I didn't want to make any big like deal out of it. Whenever in the past I haven't uploaded consistently, which honestly has not been very often. I always come on, and like back in October when we were sick, I came on, I was like, you know, I'm really sorry, I just want to let you guys know where we've been. And a bunch of you were like, you don't need to do that. You don't need to apologize. You don't, like, if you need to take a break or if you're sick, it's fine. And most of the time, I'm just not good at that, because I do like for you guys to be able to count on me for some kind of consistency with things. And so I don't love just like not showing up someplace that you're expecting me to show up. However, I have been active on my other channel, my Angela Braniff channel, and Instagram some as well. So it wasn't like there was no way for people to know if we were okay. It's just we weren't posting vlogs. And the reason, I just needed a break. I have been posting vlogs very consistently, fairly consistently in 2016, very consistently 2017, and even more so 2018, 2019, 2020, very consistently 2 to 3 times a week, without ever taking any kind of a real break. And that not only is just kind of tiring, I just needed a break. That's all. I just needed a break. I just needed to like reevaluate some things, to think about some things, how I wanted to move forward into another year. I'm not a big person on like writing down a bunch of resolutions and stuff like that, but I do like to consider the coming year and the freshness and newness that comes with a new year. And it always feels like a right time to make changes. It just, whether that's true or not, that's how I feel, and therefore it is right. So it's always an easier time for me mentally, I suppose, to make changes. So I just wanted to kind of think through some things and figure some things out, and just needed a little bit of a break. Wanted to spend the holidays with my family, with my kids. I've worked really hard over the years to strike a balance between personal and being able to keep some things private, and y'all know that. Most of you know that. Some of you are hell-bent to misunderstand that every single time, but most of you know that. And so, yeah, I just need a little bit of a break. But I did want to pop back on really quickly and share with you kind of what has happened over the last month, like what you missed while I was away. And just so we can kind of lead into the coming vlogs without you being like, hey, wait a second, what are you talking about? What? And feeling very confused. So I need to fill you in on a few things. I'm going to be a little bit matter of fact and not super emotional in sharing these things. And it's not because I don't have emotions about them or care about them. It's simply because my husband is waiting outside for me to get started on this project that we're working on for the chickens. We'll talk about that. And so I don't have a lot of time. I've obviously also already had time to emotionally process some of these things. They're not all bad things, but I just want to put that out there, lest you think I am heartless or an emotional or emotionless person. 'Tis not true. Just sharing with you very matter-of-factly the things that have been going on. So number one, Mr. Aslan was neutered, and while you might be wondering why on earth am I sharing that with you, it's only to say that I don't know if it's because he's such a big dog or what the situation was, but the surgery itself went great. Healing, not so much. Healing has been, it's been a process. The dog has ended up with like hematomas. I'm talking like things got about that big and swollen. I'm trying to choose my words wisely here on YouTube. Let's just say there was lots of swelling, and I was like, what is happening? I thought they removed those. How did they come back and they're now the size of bowling balls. It was a process of pain medications and antibiotics and the cone of shame, and I felt so bad for him with the cone of shame, so I went and bought him like an inflatable, kind of looks like a boppy that you wrap around their neck, like an inflatable donut type thing. He could still reach them to lick, so he get back into the cone of shame. Whew, it's been, and he's doing much better now, but that was a much longer process than we anticipated. So that's done. We also learned very sadly that Mr. Bodie, Kennedy's toy Australian Shepherd dog, has a very rare and fatal heart defect. Basically, the vet, well, they recommended us to go take him for an MRI and to see a basically canine cardiologist. And they did an MRI and basically told us that if, there's no medication that fixes this, that he has 6 months, maybe a year to live in his current condition. There was and is a surgical option. And as you might imagine, it's not cheap. However, it is has a very good success rate, and the biggest thing to worry about is that after the surgery, that what they repaired will scar over, and we would be sort of back at square one, which would essentially be just treating him like, he's in doggy hospice. And you can imagine that none of this is fun or easy news to receive or to share with my daughter and to deal with all of that. So the long and short of it is Bodie is having surgery in February. There's a university veterinary hospital in Georgia that we found that does the surgery. So he is going to be having the surgery in February. And I would just ask and covet your prayers and thoughts that the surgery would be successful and that it would restore Bodie to as healthy as he can, possibly be, and to hopefully give him a somewhat normal lifespan and life expectancy and quality of life. Because that's the biggest thing, is that not only is his life severely shortened, but his quality of life is not great right now. So, yeah, that's going on and has been a lot to deal with during the holiday season as well. In slightly more positive news, we rescued a hamster, a Syrian hamster named Zoya. A long story short, she was in a bad situation. She had a few litters of babies. The conditions she was living in were not good. The local SPCA had rescued her and a number of other hamsters from this situation. All of her babies had been adopted out, and she was the last one because she's an adult female. And, people are always, I think a lot of people are afraid of adopting females because they're afraid they'll bring them home and they'll be pregnant. And we know this because it happened to my sister and I when we were kids. A hamster from the pet store that we were told was a boy came home, and we woke up like 3 or 4 days later, and the hamster had like a whole bunch of little baby hamsters in the cage. We were like, what the heck? Anyways, so of course, my girls, they are like me, and a bit of a bleeding heart about these things. And so, we're like, Mom, can we please adopt her? And I mean, it was Christmas. I felt so sorry for her. I mean, to just be churning out babies and then be left in that condition. I just felt so bad for her. So I was like, of course we can adopt her. It's a hamster. They live about 2 to 3 years. We don't know how old she is. So that was a big thing. I told the girls, like, look, we could bring her home and she could live for 3 months, or we could bring her home and she could live for another 2 years. We just don't know. But we all agreed that all we really cared about at the end of the day was that this poor hamster had had such a rough life, and that we were just going to give her like the creme de la creme, best hamster life she could possibly have for however long she has left to live. So that is Miss Zoya. She's all black. She's a Syrian hamster, so she's a little bit bigger. The girls have built her what I can only refer to as some kind of a hamster oasis. My daughters, so they're very particular about things when it comes to their small pet care. She has a enormous cage that's like clear, and she has all this bedding, so she digs tunnels. She's got tunnels dug in. It's pretty incredible, to be honest. I might actually like to live in that cage. So Miss Zoya has joined the family as well. I'm sure you'll see her at some point. Let's see what else. We have a bunch of projects that we're working on. We had a huge windstorm come through the other night. To make a very long story short, if you didn't see my Instagram stories, this windstorm came through, and basically, we didn't even know that it was going to be that bad, but we woke up in the middle of the night to like booms, and the power box out here was like, I don't really know, it was like sparking and like boom, and it sounded like it was going to blow up. And all the power lines that run behind our house here, there's 2 spots where they touch trees that are behind the fence, so over on our neighbor's property. And they were sparking and trying to catch those trees on fire, basically. So we had to call the fire department about 4:30 in the morning. They came out and they were like, yeah, we can't do anything until the power company comes and shuts this transformer or whatever off so that we can get up there and cut those limbs back so these trees don't catch on fire. And we were panicking because one of the trees is directly over the chicken coop. Long story short, the power company was so slammed because the windstorm was so bad that power lines were down and things like that all over town. So it took them like 3.5 hours to get here. So we all just watched from outside, inside. The fire department stayed the entire time watching, keeping, nobody was allowed to go near it, just waiting for the power company to come and shut off the power line, just hoping that things didn't catch on fire. So it was a crazy, crazy day. We have a big pine tree over here that has come broken with the wind, but it's being sort of held up by 2 other pine trees. And when it does come down, which it will at some point, it's going to come directly down on our fencing over here where Bo and Flash and the mini horses are. So we had a big tree come down in the other pasture down here that landed on fencing. That's always the fear in situations like ours, is that with wind and trees like that they'll come down, they'll break fencing, and then animals will get out. Horses will get scared, panic, and they'll get out. So it was a long night and a long day. We were able to get the tree off that fence, and luckily the 2 horses that are in that pasture are away at training, so there was no horses there, which is great. However, we have a huge project that we've been kind of working on there where we need to get the fencing done, but we've got some dead trees that need to come down. So we've just got tons of projects around here to do, including the project Ciara and I are getting ready to work on today, which is the chicken coop area. We decided ultimately, after kind of consulting with some other people we know that have chickens and ducks and everything else, that we would just build one big, almost like our barnyard, but like one big, sort of flock area where all of our winged animals live. So people have ducks and chickens live together all the time. We do have an option to kind of segregate them should there be too many problems, but we've got to get the situation managed right now because we have those silkies that because of all of the death that we had with dying upon arrival, dying within a week of being here, the hawk getting some of them, the numbers of silkies dwindled down. And of course, what's left but 2 roosters and 4 silky females. And that is a terrible ratio for everyone. That's no bueno. They cannot live happily ever after like that. It's way too many. First of all, 2 roosters. They're starting to fight. They're still fairly young, but they're starting to fight. And there's only 4 silky hens. Those poor girls cannot manage 2 roosters. So we've got to get the area sorted so that we can bring our 14 other hens and kind of even things out a little bit. So Ciara and I are working on getting that built as fast as we possibly can to sort of resort the numbers. Those silkies came in early August and we just started getting eggs from them. They're the cutest eggs you've ever seen. If I can remember, I'll insert a picture right here to show you a comparison of a silky egg, our sort of regular laying hens, the size of their eggs, and then a duck egg. You can see the size difference between the 3. It's crazy. This is why though, I imagine that the silky eggs will get a smidge bigger as they get bigger, but silkies are very small chickens. It's why they're a really popular like backyard pet chicken. What else? I feel like I'm forgetting something. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. There's so many. We have so many projects going on, Ciara and I, as always. I like to dream big, and then he drags me kicking and screaming back down to earth about what is realistic. So we're just trying to kind of tackle one project at a time. I've got one more thing left to do, and I finished and will be done with his closet makeover. Poor guy has waited so long for me to get that done, but I have finally gotten his closet makeover done with like a system from Container Store and some other things, fun little surprises I had for him. So that video is going to go up on my personal channel, hopefully in the next couple days. So if you're not subscribed over there, you definitely should check it out. I'll have his closet makeover up there soon. But lots of projects and things like that coming up. We're kind of dreaming for 2022, what we want to do around here, what's realistic. Like I said, you guys know me, I'm always like head in the clouds about things and all the things I want to do. And then, you know, CR kind of keeps me humbled as to what we have time to do, what we can afford to do, all that kind of stuff. So lots of things coming around Fairhaven Farms. I am very grateful. First of all, lots of you guys have messaged me and reached out to ask if we're okay. Like I said, most of you, if you follow me on Instagram or my personal channel, you knew that we were here, we were around, we just weren't really vlogging. It's very sweet of you guys to check on us and make sure that we're all good and okay, and we are. We just needed a smidge of a break, you know? We just needed to take a little bit of time off from the vlogs. So we are back. Much to come in 2022, lots of exciting things. We are gonna be resuming our What It's Like to Own series. We did Aslan's video, What It's Like to Own a Great Pyrenees, and we have so many more that the girls are chomping at the bit to do, the rabbits and birds and other small animals that they love, and they're very passionate about the care, you know, proper care of those kinds of animals, and lots to come. I'm talking really fast because I tried to sit down and record this earlier, and it was like 45 minutes. And I was like, Angie, nobody wants to sit and listen to you drone on and on for 45 minutes. Therefore, I was like, that's it. I'm turning the camera on. I'm just going to talk fast and go and spit it all out. And that's exactly what we've done here. So if you're thinking to yourself, good Lord, what's this woman on? Nothing. I'm on coffee, a tight schedule, and not wanting to have to edit that video. That was 45 minutes long, or probably longer, an hour of me yakking. So we're condensing it, and here we go. The information much faster. That's it. I think that's the update. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. I know I'm forgetting something. I always forget things, especially when I haven't vlogged in a month. I'm certain I forgot something, but we'll catch you up along the way as the vlogs resume. So I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season, a great new year. Excited for 2022, you guys. You know, listen, the last 2 years have been just rubbish. There's been lots of good things, but lots of rubbish things too. And I'm very hopeful for 2022. I don't think it's gonna be rubbish. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we be hopeful for 2022? Or am I kidding myself? That is it for today's video. I have missed you guys. We're very glad to be back, and we will see you again very soon.